Isaiah here with another video how to add fractions, turn them into mixed fractions. That's what I'm going to show you today. The first rule for this one is to find the least common multiple. If the denominators are different, you have to find the least common multiple. You might be familiar with the least common denominator, but really they're the same thing. So yeah. Now, before I show you the least common multiple or least common denominator, I want to give you a rule. My teacher always taught me that to be careful with what you do, with what you do, and how you do mental math, because look at another problem. Let's say you have 4, 6, and 8 twelfths. Now, when I had this problem before, that's why I'm using it. I had this problem before, and when I first saw it, I said immediately 12 plus 12. Whatever 12 plus 12 is, which 12 plus 12 equals 24, so 4. So that would be the least common denominator for them. But my teacher always taught me that you need to write it down before doing anything. So to make sure that that's the least common multiple. But 24 is not the least common multiple. And here's why. Let me get a pen. And here's why. Okay. So anytime 4 and 12. Anytime you have these two, you always, even I get confused sometimes. Even I forget this rule. So don't feel bad if you have forget this rule when you're doing a problem. Don't feel bad, because I do it all the time and I know how to do things. But that's because I think I'm so good at it, and that's how a lot of people mess up. So anytime you're doing a problem like this, you're trying to find the least common denominator or least common multiple, you always start with 0. Then the number 4. And then you begin to add on. So in this case, it would be 4, 0, 4, 8, 12, 16. It'll go on from there. But this is also what you have to do with this one. So 0, 12, then the number, then you begin to add on. Now you see, let me write 12 more clear here. Now you see that when you start with 0, then 12, you see that you have 12. 12 is a common multiple of 4 and 12. So before you go, just trying to add something real quickly, you have to always start with 0, then a number, then start adding on to it, okay? So that took up a lot of our time, but that's okay. I can breeze right through this for you. Erase the rest of this. I can breeze right through it. Give me a second to erase. Okay. Now, the multiples of 4 and 8. So, like I said, start with 0, 4, 8, and now we can automatically see that 0, 8. Since we started off at 0, then the number. Now we see that 8 is a common multiple, is the least common multiple for 4 and 8. So let's erase that. So the answer is 8. My teacher always taught me to put these things here, so when you get the least common multiple, which is in this case 8, you can put them right there. So since we found the first number is done, the first rule is done, and we found the LCM. The second rule is done, which is change the denominator. Now we have to change the numerator. Now we have to change the numerator. The numerator. We haven't done that yet. Okay. Shut that off. Okay, so now what? Here's another rule. Rule 3, change the numerator. N stands for numerator. Just throw it in there. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator, okay? So in this case, we did 4 times 2. And 4 times 2 equals 8. That's how we got the numerator, 8. That's how we got the denominator, 8. And we did 8 times 1 to get, 8. So whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So 6 times 2, and 6 times 2 is 12. 8 times 1 equals 8. So 12 times 1, which is 12. So now you add these two together, and 12 plus 12 is 24. So your answer would be 24 over 8. And we just finished 2 more steps on our list. So we've completed 4 steps so far. We found the least common multiple, which is 8. We changed the denominator into 8, and we changed the numerator, which is 12 and 12. And we added the fractions, and the answer came out 24 and 8. Now we're going to do step 5 and turn them into. Now we're going to do I should have put step 5 as how many times to change it into mixed number, but I think you guys get it. So step 5 is to see how many times the denominator, which is 8, goes into the numerator. You might be thinking, why are we doing this? Because this is how you turn a fraction into a mixed fraction. So 8 plus 8 equals 16. 16, let's add another 8. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It can go into it exactly 3 times. Okay, so now we have to take away. So now we have to take away 24. And you might be thinking, well, why do we have to take away 24? Because of the simple thing that, well, I might not be able to explain this. I'm just going to show you. Let's say we have 7. No, let's say we have 9. We're trying to see how many times 9. 8. We're trying to see how many times 4 can go into 9. Write down 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. There goes 1. There goes 1 time. 4 can go into 9 1 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it can go into it. I meant 8. I'm sorry, guys. I meant how many times can it go into 8. I'm sorry. So 4 can go into 8 2 times. So the whole of it is 2 times. The big circle around it is 2 times. But if you look inside, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why we're subtracting, because whatever's inside of it, however many numbers are inside, that's what we're subtracting. Okay? So, yeah. So in this case, it will be 24. So 24, take away 24 was 0. Now, before I go any further, I want to check off these two here. The top becomes the whole number. So what I mean by that is whatever the answer that we're looking for, which is 3, it becomes the whole number. Now this might get confusing to you, because I also said the remainder becomes the numerator, and that'll be true. In any other case, if the remainder is an actual number, if the remainder is like 2, 12, or 4, or 8, or any other number really, it would become the numerator. So in this case, it would be 0. Now, I know everybody might be thinking, wait, but it's 0. Just let me finish. This is supposed to be a D. The original denominator becomes the denominator. That's rule 8. The original denominator becomes the denominator. So the original denominator was 8. So the answer, the answer that we have right here is 3 0/8. But that's not the real answer. The answer would be 3. Yeah, it would be 3. It would be 3. When I first saw this, I got confused as well. Because I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Since there's no remainder, what is the answer? So, in my mind, I was like, maybe it's just supposed to replace 1, put 1, and then do the denominator. But no, if there is no numerator, then the denominator doesn't count. So the answer to this problem, trying to turn it into a mixed fraction, would be 3.